Hey, do you remember the 80s? I know I do. Nostalgia is hot right now, and with classics from the 1980s like Masters of the Universe, Transformers, Thundercats, and now Voltron getting newfound attention in the market, it's time to look ahead to the era of grunge music, dial-up internet, and the Y2K scare. In this video, we're checking out 10 intellectual properties from the 1990s to keep an eye out for now, before these 90s kids realize that their 20s are winding down rapidly. This video is brought to you by MySlabs.com. We'll have more on them later. They tell me that I'm a millennial. I was born in the 80s, I grew up in the 90s, and was launched out into the real world in the early 2000s. And while things have been rather hit or miss since then, one thing is for sure, 90s pop culture was pretty unique. It was crude, rude, and often just pretty damn weird. I've got 10 noteworthy blasts from the past to cover today, but I know there are so many others that could have made the list. Do me a favor, leave me a comment below and let me know what was your go-to 90s show back in the day. Kicking off my top 10 90s intellectual properties list is Animaniacs: A Christmas Special #1. Published in December 1994 by DC Comics, Animaniacs: A Christmas Special #1 introduces us to the zany Animaniacs crew for the first time in comic book form. Personally, Pinky and the Brain were my favorites, and they, along with Slappy and Skippy Squirrel, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot, and so many more, make their first comic book appearances in this book. If you're a fan of issues that feature multiple first appearances, this is a book for you. The best part about Animaniacs: A Christmas Special #1 is it's really affordable. Recent sales on eBay have ranged from $2 to $25 for raw copies, with a recent sale for a CGC 9.8 going for only $128. If you're looking to get a little bit dangerous, then check out the #9 book, Darkwing Duck #1. Published by Disney in November 1991, Darkwing Duck includes a couple of notable first appearances, as both Darkwing Duck and Launchpad McQuack make their comic book debuts in this issue. Part 1 of a 4-part miniseries. I wouldn't be surprised if this book starts to heat up a bit in the future if the Darkwing Duck reboot series that was announced for Disney Plus actually comes to fruition. This one is currently selling between $30 and $50 mostly, though there are some sales ranging from as low as $12 clear up to $100. So if you're patient and flexible on grade, you may be able to bring this one home for an easy to swallow price. If you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you never miss a new video. Next up is a show that just snuck into the 1990s, but the comic adaptation didn't actually hit the stands until November of 2000. Our #8 book is Futurama Comics #1 from Bongo Comics. Futurama premiered on Fox March 28, 1999, and ran for 4 seasons before being canceled and later revived by Comedy Central. The early success of the show prompted the publication of Futurama Comics, which would run for 81 issues, ending in November of 2016. Futurama #1 will currently set you back in the neighborhood of $75 on average, though keep an eye out for the San Diego Comic-Con 2000 exclusive edition, as it tends to bring a bit more than the standard release. If you're up for a challenge, then the #7 book, Rugrats #1, is the book for you. Published in May 1996 by Panini UK, the first appearance of the Rugrats gang in comics was actually in this UK-only release. Based on the popular Nickelodeon cartoon that debuted August 11, 1991, the series ran for 9 seasons and 172 episodes, with the final episode airing August 1st, 2004. The characters would also be featured in multiple US comic book adaptations, with releases from Boom Studios as recently as 2018. While this issue may not be the most expensive on the list, it may well prove to be the most challenging to acquire. Key Collector currently values Rugrats #1 at $12, but as of the recording of this video, there were no recent sales reporting on eBay or current listings of a copy for this premiere issue. The number 6 book features the IP with the most recent pop culture success, Sonic the Hedgehog number 1. But this is not just any old Sonic the Hedgehog number 1. We're talking about the promotional mini-comic that was published in September of 1991 by Sega. Interestingly enough, we're not really sure how this book was distributed, but regardless of how it was released, this promo issue gets the nod for the first appearance of Sonic in a comic book, along with the first cover appearance of Dr. Robotnik. When you track a copy of this one down, be prepared to drop between $200 and $250 for a high-grade copy, while mid-grade copies will run closer to the $100 mark. Beware, there is a 16-page pull-out promo that has the same cover art. It was printed on regular interior page paper stock, while the real deal includes a total of 20 pages and has a glossy cover. Recently, a third Sonic movie was announced, so this intellectual property is likely to stay in the public eye for a bit longer. And now, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, MySlabs.com. MySlabs.com is an online marketplace for collectible cards, comics, and digital assets such as NFTs. MySlabs.com is well known for their competitive fee structure when selling on the platform, and they recently expanded into raw cards and comics. Here's the latest from MySlabs.com.
The platform designed by collectors for collectors just got even better. MySlabs.com is proud to now feature dedicated sections for both raw cards and raw comic books. Browse over 100,000 slab collectibles, authenticated by the industry's most trusted grading companies. Then check out a massive selection of sealed wax and now raw singles and raw lots. Join a passionate, no-nonsense community of nearly 50,000 members and enjoy some of the best buyer and seller protection in the business. And as always, MySlabs offers one of the most disruptive pricing models in the hobby, with seller fees as low as only 1%. So the next time you're forced to pay 10%, 20%, or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com, the low-fee marketplace by collectors for collectors.
Thank you to MySlabs.com for sponsoring this video. 1991 was a weird year. If you doubt that, I need to only point you in the direction of the show that led to our number 5 book, Ren and Stimpy number 1. Ren and Stimpy number 1 was published in December 1992 following the release of the show of the same name that aired its first of 52 episodes on August 11th, 1991. The interesting thing with Ren and Stimpy number 1 is that it is not the character's first comic book appearance. A few months prior, in June of 1992, the pair appeared in a pin-up inside Amazing Hero Swimsuit Special number 3 from Fantagraphics. First printings of Ren and Stimpy number 1 feature one of the more unique special features I've seen in a comic. The first printing shipped with one of 2 scratch and sniff air foulers, one of Stimpy and one of Ren. The later printings are easily identifiable, as Ren straight up tells you on the cover by mocking Stimpy for buying a second or third printing. This is another affordable book, as you can currently pick up sealed copies of the first print for $10 to $15. If you're into more refined humor and highly developed intelligent characters, then the number 4 book is the book for you. Beavis and Butthead number 1. Published by Marvel in March 1994, just 1 year after the show premiered on MTV, Beavis and Butthead number 1 is not just the first appearance of the title characters, as a fellow 1990s MTV staple, Daria, also makes her first comic book appearance in this issue as well. This book saw a small increase in value and interest last year when it was revealed that Paramount Plus was looking at the property for a new movie. Fast forward to April 2022, and Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe is just a few months away from release as of the recording of this video. Currently bringing between $10 and $15, Beavis and Butthead number 1 may just be cheaper than that new multi-pack of TP you need for your bunghole. Another classic character that just snuck in on the 1990s was SpongeBob SquarePants. Our number 3 book is SpongeBob Comics number 1. After appearing in the preceding years in a variety of places in print, it took more than 10 years for SpongeBob to find his way into a standard comic book. Published in February 2011, this United Plankton Pictures release is one of the more expensive issues on the list. Chances are a nice copy is going to cost you at least $150, and finding a copy for less than $100 seems to be a pretty tall order. Premiering in the summer of 1999, SpongeBob will become one of the most beloved and longest-lasting shows in Nickelodeon's history, running for a total of 271 issues over 13 seasons. Needless to say, most people are going to know the answer to this question. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob's widespread popularity makes this issue a book I would consider a great long-term hold. The runner-up for our top 10 90s intellectual properties list is Cartoon Network starring number 1. Published in September 1999 from DC Comics, this issue features the first comic book appearance of the Powerpuff Girls in a standard comic book. The Powerpuff Girls TV show premiered November 18, 1998, for what would go on to be an impressive 6-season, 78-episode run. Following their debut in Cartoon Network starring number 1, the team would land their own self-titled comic series when Powerpuff Girls number 1 hit the stands in May 2000. A high-grade copy of Cartoon Network starring number 1 will cost you upwards of $100, but several recent sales have gone for less than that 3-figure price point. Perched high above and patiently watching the other books on the list is our number 1 book, Gargoyles number 1. Published in February 1995, this Marvel adaptation of the popular Disney cartoon series has recently seen a sharp increase in interest and value. The Gargoyles show premiered October 24, 1994, and ran for over 2 years until February 15th of 1997. With 78 episodes comprising 3 seasons, the Gargoyles series earned a sizable fan base. Following the launch of Disney+, Gargoyles has been experiencing a bit of a renaissance, with the increased accessibility to the show driving increases in value for all things Gargoyles, including the vintage action figures and the Marvel Comics series. High-grade copies of Gargoyles number 1 are selling for approximately $75 as of late, give or take some dollars. Gargoyles has a passionate fan base, and in the event that Disney puts a new Gargoyles project on the calendar for Disney+, this issue could be primed to climb to even higher values. Nostalgia continues to be a driving factor in the market, and as more and more 80s properties get revived, it's only a matter of time until the gaze of these production companies shifts to the 1990s. I know for myself it's hard to process the fact that some of these properties are already 30 years old, but as it tends to go, once a fan base hits their 30s, they tend to find some disposable income to apply towards the collectibles they had when they were younger. Voltron today could easily be Darkwing Duck tomorrow. I wouldn't expect any of these books to be quick flip contenders right now, but I think they are all great long-term holds, especially if you can find them at good prices in today's market. Thanks again to MySlabs.com. Check them out and let them know that Como sent you. Happy hunting out there, everyone. Don't forget to collect responsibly, and I'll see you in the next video.